All right. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Welcome to the Arrogant Witch YouTube show. I am Witch Naima, and today I have a very special, perfect guest with me. I'm so delighted for her to join us today, and I'll be introducing her very shortly. Before I get started here, a special shout out to those of you who are here for the very first time. Here at the Arrogant Witch community, myself and my company help magical melanin witches come out of hiding, fear, and isolation and into full power so they can do the work that they came here to do, be paid well, and live bone deep fulfillment. So we are doing something for many of you. You'll hear things here or have experiences here you haven't had before. We are pioneers here for those of us who are magical and who are melanin and who have, as you know, as you've already experienced, just lived very isolating lives. And what it takes for us to come out of hiding, what does it really take for us to come into who we are here in the world, in this dense, illusory world where we are not welcome, and yet we're all over the place, and we are born to do very specific things, literally born to. We're not here to study, we're not here to learn, we're here to uncover what we bury down, what we already know, because we know, like this, we know, we know, we know. And so today's topic is dating and receiving as a witch. Get into it. Today's topic is dating and receiving as a witch. So there are conversations being had behind the scenes, and there are awarenesses that we have as witches, and the modern day ways of being seen and connecting with one another. When I say one another, I mean male to female witch, okay? These energies, very powerful energies coming together and creating together. And most people, when they hear about man and woman creating, the first thing they think about is a baby. But that's what I mean by you talking to these people, these normal ass spirit, new age spiritual people, these love and light ass motherfuckers who are not taking us where we need to go, okay? They can't, it's literally impossible, okay? And so, yes, a baby making can be involved, but there's so many creations. We're creating whole new worlds. We're creating new worlds. So how do powerful, magical melanin witches who are born as such, powerful, magical melanin male witches, male wizards, and other supernatural male folk, how do we exist well with one another and receive from one another and give one another and even meet each other, like seeing each other with clear eyes and responding accordingly, right? Being able to even see, gosh, that's what we get into today. So I'm thrilled, just so excited to bring on a public front in a way, right? Because there's a lot that's going to happen in the dark and behind closed doors that y'all not going to see. We're just going to be producing results. But what we will discuss here today, I'm so excited to bring to you all Supernova, Britney, aka B, aka Holy Locks. Get into it, okay? And she and I are both in the thick of it. You know, she's a member in the Arrogant Witch community. I look forward to Britney sharing. Oh God, I'm just, yeah, see, life, more life. This is what's going on around here. And so doors to the Arrogant Witch open September 20th, which is about 3 weeks from today. And man, it's just so much life around that going on. So many people are expressing interest in, participating in what we're going to be sharing on September 20th. So if you have been watching us for a while, and you are ready, September 20th is when doors open. So who is Holy Locks? Who is B? Who is Britney? Listen, she can tell you better than I can, but I'm just gonna tell you just a little bit. Yes. So Britney, you can, share with us how you found Arrogant Witch, whoop-de-whoop. But having her experiencing Britney, it's been like, you know how you see a GIF online or a video and it shows a flower as like a bud, and then it shows fast motion of the flower becoming a flower. Like that's what it's been like watching Britney. It's just been like, you know what I mean? And that's what happens, first of all, when somebody is ready and they made a decision, but also when they have the conditions. You need the conditions. Yes. You see, for who you are to evolve, to come out, to explode, to be who you need the conditions, right? So the conditions means the environment, it means the man, and the environment means what's going on in you. It means what's going on around you. It means the people in your world, including the man, the conditions. Because we are speed, all this dense flow. That's because we're in the wrong environment. Arrogant Witch is the only environment for supernatural, magical, melanin witches, healers, mentors, those of us who are supernatural. This is the environment. This is the holy grail for us to evolve with the speed which we have the capacity to withstand. And whatever your capacity is, you then can expand it. The environment allows you to expand that capacity so you can have more, do more, be more. And so that's what Miss Chaos Magician, because that's what she's gonna take about that. Miss Chaos Magician, because that skill is required in this world. So without further ado, I welcome to you, Holy Locks, the Britney Chaos Magician here before me. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Grace us, tell us, what is it? What can we welcome and receive from you today? Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Well, let me first introduce myself. I am B. I am a high priestess, a healer, a spiritual consultant who specializes in chaos and trauma, chaos, energy, and trauma. As far as I want to go straight into my experience as far as being in, the environment that you have created. It has been hell and it has been heaven. It strips you down where you don't have any excuses for why you are not pursuing your dreams, why you are not telling that motherfucker how you feel, it puts the pressure on you to stop telling yourself, I'm going to try to do something. Just do it. You have changed my life in so many ways and I'm forever grateful for you. Thank you so much. I mean, even me defining myself like this, knowing that I was coming on the show today, I was asking myself, who am I? How do I define myself? Which I know she's going to say, introduce yourself. And I'm like, well, who is Britney? Who is B? And how do I, tell people who are watching this, who I am in a short little, summary. Because I have discovered so many different parts of myself being in this community. So I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes. So like the video, hello Green Witch. Like the video. So this topic of dating and receiving. So this topic is a very tender topic. It's a very we tell the truth around here. We're radical honesty. We're about full power. So we want it raw. We want it from the root all the way up. We require it. And so we'll go to a degree here. However, for those of you who are looking to go deeper into this topic, you need to come further in, whether it's the Arrogant Witch community, whether it's working closely with me privately. But this topic of dating and receiving as a witch, I'll speak about this first from a personal perspective and what it's been like for me. And then Britney, I'm gonna ask you to chime in here. So there's receiving, period, right? Like all humans, it's a good idea for all humans to have a great capacity to receive. And then there's the matters that come up with witches, which are, they're the rules that govern normal relationships. Like and I'm not going to even get into the nuances of normal relationships, but over here in the witch world, where to really be who you are, to be honest and to be alive and awake in who you are, automatically makes you abnormal in the world, automatically makes you what people call too much, which is why we've gone into hiding, right? People have called us too much. People have called us crazy. People have called us demons in the mean way. People have called us fill in the blank, right? Anything to make us feel like who we are naturally, purely, rawly is a problem and doesn't belong in the world. And so many of us have disassociated in a way, which is why we are unable to manifest and wield and create, because we're so disconnected from our rawness, from our primal natures, from our true selves. And so in that space of being disconnected from oneself, you're not receiving very well, right? Not saying it's impossible, you're just not receiving very well, okay? And so when it comes time to receive as a witch, when I say receive, I mean, you even observing a man who you know is for you online, or observing him or being in some kind of relationship or contact with him physically in the world, and you being able to really connect with him in a way where you guys speedily move, and him too, right? You guys being able to receive each other in a way where the pressure of the world and the lies of the world and the density of the world doesn't keep you guys away from each other, and you're able to connect. And so for me, historically, like I'm in a different place now, but I want to talk about where the problem and where we're going. And so the problem for me was, and I've said this before, where I made unconscious decisions that when I was going into a relationship, I was not going to be who I was. And that's because I'm just like, I wasn't in full approval of myself. And I'm like, no man is going to see me, accept me for the truth of who I am. And so I want to be with a man. So let me bend and lie and wear masks in order to be with this man. So historically, that's what I would do. Britney shaking her head, yes. What's that about?
Because that's so true. You do that. I mean, society tells us as women who to be. They do not allow us. I mean, it doesn't matter in what environment that you're in, you're always being told who to be, how to act, how to dress, how to do this. This is how you catch a man. This is how you get a job. This is how you work in the work environment. Don't be too masculine. Don't do this. So of course, you're not gonna naturally attract something that's for you because you're not being your authentic self.
You see. So you see how that just happened, you guys. That's why if arrogant which speaks to you, making your way in September 20th. So then naturally what happens is, because you're being a fraction of who you are, you're wearing a mask, you're pretending to be something else, it doesn't last, right? Because it becomes exhausting. You're easily, right? You start not liking him, but it's not even like you're not liking him. You just mad at yourself and he's the closest person. Right? So then all that happens, and the relationship never works because you're not being who you are. And so then what? You're single, and you're single not necessarily because you want to be single, but because you're pretending to be something, but then you're afraid to be who you really are because no man is going to be able to accept you. And then so then what the fuck do you do? It's a whole spiral, right? And then eventually you either decide to be who you are, or you just die slowly. Right? And so, and then
So true.
I love your smile, Britney, so much. Okay, so then you decide that you're going to come be who you are. You're going to be in full power, right? You're going to tell the truth about who you are. You're going to smile when you mean it. You're going to say wonderful things when you mean it. You're going to allow your primal self to show. You're going to share how you really feel. You're going to be vulnerable. You're going to be tender, and you're going to be powerful. Like, you're going to be the full spectrum of who you really are. And that you're going to connect with the man for you. And the way that modern world teaches us about even it's a performance. The whole way the modern world teaches us, it's a performance for us. It's a performance for modern women too, but they can do that because they're normal women. They're very normal, right? They're not compelled in the ways that we are. They don't see the way that we are. They don't sense, like, No normal woman is talking about chaos magic. What? You know what I mean? Like, she wants to get the man who's going to provide. And I'm not saying we don't care about providers or we don't desire providers, but he also needs to see and be and sense and connect and be born with the DNA that compels him to live a certain way. Because when he's born with that DNA that compels him to live a certain way, he's going to move a certain kind of way. He's going to move differently than normal men. And so the first pain historically for me, and what seems to be pretty universal for magical melanin witches, healers, and the like, the universal pain is, will I be accepted for who I am? Okay, will I be rejected? Will I be made wrong? Will I need to go run away, or do I need to wear a mask? Like what? Like, so that's right. That seems to be it. What do you have to say about this, Britney? What else do you see as a pain, a common pain for us when it comes to really being with and connecting with authentically as ourselves with a magical melanin male witch?
I feel like that it starts with the root of it all. It starts with you, as far as in your childhood. What did you learn? What was your environment like? What did you grow up around? What did you see? How did your father treat your mother? You know, and then from there, a lot of times we tend to replay these situations out over and over, and especially for me, not being able, my mama wasn't vulnerable. You know, we were taught to be strong. We were taught to, you know, you don't tell somebody your feelings. And especially, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, as far as in allowing a man to do for me, that receiving, playing my role as the feminine has been, it was like ripping that death, you know, ripping myself apart to realize this is my role. It is my role as a feminine woman to receive and not feel bad about that, not feel greedy, not feel like I'm a gold digger, I'm a whore, you know, because you get told all these things when you're growing up. You need to be independent. You need to be, you know, on your own. You don't need anyone. But I feel like a relationship now is two halves of one whole, you know, the masculine and the feminine. So, yeah.
Those are key pieces in being in a relationship with a magical melanin male witch, wizard, etc. And what I'd like to get at before we even get to that part, Brittany, because that part matters tremendously. This is a big picture, you guys. We're going to barely scratch the surface here today, but so much more of this is going to be happening behind the scenes, and we're going to be working deliberately to call in male witches, because the power, we're playing a long game here. First of all, we're playing a long game here, and the power, like the full rich, like, my God, like when I even just think about it, you know, it's everything. It is like the true awe. It's the true awe. And I know with absolute certainty that when male witches and female witches find each other and we come together and we tell the truth in a room, right? We tell the truth. We allow all of who we are to come out. Like, the bending of planets that I'm looking for will happen. Okay? The literal construction of new worlds. Being able to do things that are impossible. That's what I'm looking for. That's it. Like, we're going that way, or I don't even want to exist here on this earth. And guess what? We have it. It's all here. It's all here. We're not waiting for something to come. It's all here right now, and it's in our hands and in our power to create it so. That's where we're going. And so we're in such elementary stages around this. And what's going to happen as we start to talk about this more and we do what we're going to be doing behind the scenes, the speed around it is going to happen, because We already know we're just all over the world. We're isolated, we're separate, we're away from each other. But it's dormant in us. We know it already. It's dormant. And as soon as the spark, as soon as we see, as soon as he sees, as soon as she sees, as soon as we hear, it's going to happen just like that. And then the only thing that's going to stop it from there is what's going on in here, and if we're being seen. See, if we don't see each other, you see this man, and you're not owning yourself, and you're scared of yourself, and you don't allow yourself to tell the truth or be vulnerable, be honest, and you don't see him correctly, or you lie, or you pretend to be, and vice versa. He doesn't see you, or he's scared to see you, or whatever stops one another from seeing each other. That's the only thing that can stop the spark, the knowing that's already there, from stopping the coming into connection and then creating impossible things. So it's all here. So arrogant witch is the holy grail for us to then soften all of the dense, the tightness, the fear, like all the stuff that keeps us constricted. We're softening all of that so we can come, right? And I'm not saying it's not going to be hard. I'm not saying, there's not some things to overcome. What I'm saying is all the ingredients are here for us to bake the cake. Everything is here. And so before we even get into what happens in the relationship, I like for us to get into receiving one another at the onset, okay? You at a coffee shop and you see him, he sees you. You on the internet, you see him, right? Or he sees you. And one of y'all decides to make contact, and y'all being able to connect with one another because you're being honest. Quick, fast, quick. But I don't need to try to be immediately. I speak to you in the way that I see you because I see myself. And vice versa. He speaks to me in the way that he sees me because he sees himself. And we're choosing to engage because we're recognizing that we're creating something impossible here. Yeah. We're literally creating the impossible. And we have it all here. Okay. What do you have to say about what I'm saying, Brittany? Like the video? You guys like the video?
Man, when you experience something like that, I've experienced that feeling that you're talking about when you just meet someone and you just have that instant connection. It's like you guys, like the guy that I happen to be dating now, I feel like is everything that you are, explaining right now, as far as in like that instant connection. You don't have to be anything other than who you are. And then those parts of you that you fucked up on, he gonna call that shit out, and vice versa. Like you guys are strengthening each other, not creating a space for you to remain in bullshit and and all the stuff that you tell yourself as far as in that may be fucked up to you, as far as putting yourself down. Like when you become like that power, together. I love it. So I understand what you're saying.
The true awe. I want to look at some of these comments, and then I'm going to get into the before, right? As we come into connection with one another. Sarandon, hey Sarandon, hey Kalia, I think it is Kalia Greenwich. Let me see. So Sarandon said, yes, society just taught us how to be with a man. Not how to be who we are, huh? Yes. Greenwich, is that Stacy Greenwich? I've been told I always do too damn much. That's what I mean. I said that in the beginning. I don't know if you were here, but you're doing too much.
Yes.
The much is actually what we need to create the impossible. Get out of our face. Okay. Colleen said, I won't be controlled I won't be controlled my relationship just to look good in society. What is that? How can you tell if you are dating a male witch? I am currently dating someone who was similar to me in a lot of senses, but I feel like it is something spiritual there with him. Good question. So I'm going to come around to that, and maybe what we talk about here today will answer that question. But I like that question. That's a good question. Divinely says, I tend to scare them off because they say I do too much. Yeah. And then who is they, right? We say I scare them off because they say, who is they, right? So let's go here. So as a reminder, what we're doing here at Arrogant Witch is it's the real deal. Like, we're not here to be popular, or we're not just here to just throw information at you. We're here to actually be in the trenches with you so that we actually create the world that's in our dreams, that's in our hearts, okay? And so what you guys got to realize is that we're doing what has never been done before, okay? We're doing what has never been done before. I'm in these streets just like y'all, and I'm on Tinder, I'm on OkCupid, I'm researching, I'm interacting with men at different levels in different ways. And what I can tell you is that we are what many call too good to be true. Okay, we are too good to be true. Many men, what B, go ahead.
That right there, oh my goodness, that is so true, because that's exactly what he's like. You too perfect. You too, it gotta be something you gotta be. No, the only thing is I'm crazy. I'm too much sometimes. Sometimes I might cuss your ass out, So sometimes I might be emotional. You all over the place, So that just spoke to my spirit, girl, when you said that.
Yes. And it's gonna speak to everybody's spirit who's a witch who watches this. And when a guy says something like that to you, so these things, we cannot take these things at face value. We have to learn to hear behind things that are being said, and to be able to use our magical senses and the deep knowing, the full knowing that we have, to hear what he's not saying, to hear what's behind his fear, and to be able to speak to that so that we don't get lost in what comes out of his mouth or what comes out of your mouth, okay? And so when a male witch, right, because this is not for average men who just want to do Bravo, normal ass male things, all right? And this is not even to talk down to normal men, it's just learning to discern, okay? When he says something like, you're too good to be true, then it's, who are you? Who are you? Who are you, right? Because if it's in your DNA and you are born, you came onto this planet to do magical things, to create new worlds, who you are is too good to be true, okay? Who you are, not me, the female, but who you are is too good to be true in this normal world. So what he's actually saying is, if he's a witch, he's yet to accept the fullness of who he is. Because when a male witch accepts the fullness of who he is, he expects you to be too good to be true. Does that, go ahead, B, what you want to say?
Yes, I love that. And I never thought about it that way. I mean, that's why he doesn't believe it, right? That's what it is, because he's looking at you and it's something he's trying to figure it out. Like, where's the, it's a catch here somewhere, So I oh my goodness.
When he's saying it's too good, he's saying he doesn't believe himself yet. He doesn't believe I am that. So how could you be that, right? Yeah. That's the flip side of what it is that he's saying. Yeah. And so I'm sharing this so we can recognize as female witches, one, the responsibility we have, the power that we have, and that unfortunately, you can look at it as unfortunately, or you just look at it as, okay, this is the world that we live in and I'm doing my part, is there's a teaching, and I talked about this a few shows ago, there's a teaching that's required of us to men, particularly witches. Keep in mind, I'm talking to mystics, male witches, male healers, other male melanin supernatural beings, okay? So we know how much of the world sees Black men, right? We know that, right? And so typically when a man has not been around other magical male witches who are coming alive, who are telling the truth, who are being who they are, they've been isolated themselves, just like we have been isolated with their own thoughts, right? Being with all the negativity in their own thoughts, hiding, not being the truth of who they are. likely interacting with very normal girls who are reinforcing how they are, you know, right, don't belong, or abnormal, or even if they are with normal spiritual girls, okay, who cannot handle that. That's if she's not willing to go fullness with him, he's gonna stay right there to be with her. He's gonna stay right there. And so, and he'll learn to be there and stay there unless something in his system is like, I can't, I gotta go, right? Or he meets you, B, or meets you, right? Or meets him, and he's like, that's actually who I'm supposed to be with, right? That's where the more life for me is. What's in my heart actually gets to come alive when I'm with her. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sharing this so we can recognize, oh, my battery, girl, get out of here. My battery is low. I'm sharing this so we can start to realize how we're at such beginning stages with this. We're at such beginning stages. And a great deal of patience is going to be required on our part, and that we can no longer afford to not be who we are. We can't. The pain, the delay, the frustration, we can no longer afford to not be who we are. And so what do we do with this now? Where do we go? I guess after this show, even today, you go out to your day today and tomorrow and you're online and whatnot. How do you start to really date and receive, right? In my experience right now, it's just, first of all, really being who you are. Like it, period. It's like being who I am. Like literally, I was on Tinder. This guy, you know the way Tinder works. And this guy messaged me. And I just read people's energetic profiles, not even necessarily what they say, but I look at the pictures they even chose to put, right? What's the energy coming up off the picture? The energy behind his words, the tone and energy of his message, all that. And I just read that. And this guy sent me a message and I replied back. I think his message was like, where do you live? Because, you know, Tinder, a person can be visiting your town and you talking to somebody, you find out they live on the other side of the country or the world, right? So he's like, so where do you live, right? And I tell him I'm a nomad, right? And say, I'm actually in California right now. And I said to him, I'm leaving the US next week or whenever I said I was leaving. I said, why don't you come with me for a month to Paris or Milan? I said, it's going to be the best experience of your life. It's 1 month. We can get a 2-bedroom apartment. And now this man and I have not had a conversation. There's been like two messages that have gone back and forth. And all I did was read the energy. That's all I did. I read the energy. And I said, this looks like a man that I can invite, right? This looks like a man who's powerful, who's supernatural, but he's not in full, I can see, right? And he, girl, like that. First of all, before I even get further, that's being who you really are. Like if I wanted to pretend and be like, oh, I'm in California, how are you today? You know what I'm saying? Just bored, like, I'm in California, how are you today? Exactly. You're handsome. You know what I mean? I could have did that, but that wouldn't have been me being the truth. But what I saw, I sensed what I sensed. I said, okay, this looks like a man I want to invite. I invited him. That's where we're going, right? Yes. Now, he's, according to him, he's currently in the process of updating his passport and all that. We'll see how that goes, right? But it's not even about that. It's about how do we do this dating and receiving? Be who you are. Start with being who you are, right? Start with being who you are. Let me look at these comments. Margot says, normal men can't even start to understand me. Yep. She says, how do we find and speak to their fear? When you say, how do we find, do you mean find their fear, right? So let me share, because this might speak a little bit to what you just asked about speaking to their fear. So this man, and not even just him, but other men who I'm speaking with. So keep in mind, everybody is afraid. First of all, before I go further, Brittany, do you have anything you'd like to share, or should I keep going?
I'm learning, so I encourage you to keep going, girl. I'm sucking it up.
Everybody is afraid. Okay. men, we live in a world that tells men how to be too. Like Britney talked about, they tell women how to be. The world tells men how to be too, right? How not to be, and what's okay, what's not okay.
Mhm.
And no matter how much a man appears to be confident and has vision and knows what we're doing, they are afraid, right? When they hit whatever their limit is, the fear is going to set in. When they're presented with something that looks too good to be true, their fear is going to set in. When they're presented with a decision that challenges their current reality, their fear is going to set in. And so your being the truth of who you are is the only thing that you can do to combat fear. Your job is not to be his counselor and to be, you know what I mean, fix him, so to speak. Like, we're dealing in power, you guys, here. Okay, we're dealing in power, and that's why I say we really need the environment to start to cultivate ourselves, because so many of you guys here in the chat here and YouTube and who will watch the replay, you're not in your power yet. So even the questions that you ask reflect not being in power. And the way that you would move with a man would reflect you not being in power. And so the arrogant witch community, the full power is inclusive of this, what we're talking about. When I say full power, I mean full, all of you, all of you. There's nothing cut off. Nothing is off limits when we talk about all of you. And this element of even learning how to sit still and be with a man who's afraid is a skill, okay? And it takes time, and you learn how to be with him by learning how to be with yourself, okay? And so this man, like who I just mentioned, he's like, he actually said he was actually in the process of doing some things to leave the country, but seriously, he has to get his stuff, his visa, passport, and like ID stuff updated. And then he said I can't even remember what he said, but I could just sense that it was rooted in some kind of fear. I just sensed, and that it was just rooted in like what Brittany might call chaos. Or what? We didn't video, like all the shit that normal. Let's do a video. Let's see. Let's do drinks.
Let's FaceTime.
Let's face.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those, but when you're in full power and you're telling the truth about who you are, and you're allowing yourself to respond to the magic that you are, right? And allow yourself to receive, like, because I could have looked at him and been like, nah, like I could have just been like, well, he's this. I could have nitpicked at things and the things that we are trained to do, right? Like make sure he's this and done. But we know like this. We know just like this, don't we, Brittany?
Yes.
We don't need to go, well, let me go let me screenshot his picture and take it to my altar and ask the ancestors.
Yes, you gotta do all that.
let me go pray with this real quick. Let me go meditate. Let me go take his picture and sit it on my pussy and see if my pussy responds favorably. You know, let me go do all this and do. Listen, we know, just like this.
Yes.
And to whatever degree that we are lying or we're not yet ready to receive the feedback that we get when we respond to our knowing, let me say that again. To whatever degree that we're not willing to receive the feedback in responding to our knowing. What do you hear when I say that, Brittany? And my battery is about to die on YouTube, so I'm not going to be able to see y'all comments after about a minute. But what do you hear when I say that, Brittany?
To receive the feedback from our knowing, right?
The feedback that you get when you in responding to your knowing. What do you hear?
What are you? Okay, the feedback as far as in like what are you taking?
So this is what I mean. Let's say you take an action from your knowing. That's like, wow, like, oh my goodness, right? It's normal people would be like, oh my God, you did that? I can't believe you did that, like, right? And you get a the consequence or the result of that is something that doesn't feel good, or, you know what I mean? He says, what you talking about? Like if he would have said to me, what? We haven't even met yet. What you doing inviting me to, who you what's going on here? Is this a scam? Right? You know what I'm saying? So what I mean is, if you can receive that without letting that cripple you, you know what I mean? If you can have somebody, you do something that's powerful and somebody says, girl, you're doing too much, or that's dangerous.
It's like a redirection, right?
Yeah.
It's instant. You know that that's not for you because they don't naturally, it's not like a magnet. Like it's not an instant, like, because if he is a, reflection of you, or, something that it is that you want to attract, he's gonna automatically respond with, oh, I like this girl. Look, she know what the fuck she want. Look, she say, fly out, I'm going, like that instant that it's in your gut, you just know when you know.
And so what's so important, and by the way, so the laptop has died, and I don't know how, because it was just at 90% when I went live. So how did that happen? And then my light just went off too, if you notice my lighting. So basically I can't look at comments anymore. But I can still go back and look at comments later. Particularly not in the live chat, because sometimes YouTube just doesn't show my live chat. I don't know what, and sometimes it does. So if you are here live and you would like for me to see what you got to say or ask questions, put it in like the chat, the actual comment section of the video, and I'll come back and take a look at those later. So being able to, because we're cultivating a skill here and learning how to read people in the most refined ways, and being able to receive. So when I say dating and receive, it's not even just receiving compliments and receiving what he does for you. It's receiving all the feedback that comes from you being in full power. Him responding to you and saying, oh, you're doing too much. Oh, this is too good to be true. And then how you handle that in a powerful way without letting that make you come down in power because, oh, he thinks I'm too much. So let me dial it back. Let me stop. You know what I mean?
Stop being you.
Yes.
To please other people.
Yes. So this is another example of receiving in dating. Receiving as we are connecting with magical melanin, which all people really, but in this instance, I'm talking about male witches and mystics, etc. And what do you have to say about this? Because there's a lot to talk about, but is there anything you want to add before I go on? Sorry.
I mean, I'm really just taking it all in because it speaks so true to like the experience that I'm going through right now. I find that when we have conversations, he'll definitely tell me that he's never met anyone like me, that we so much alike. But at the same time, his actions show how scared he is of, the power that he sees when we come together, because it's like we complete each other's sentences. We think alike, the way we move, it's scary for them. So, I mean, even you saying that before, that is a reflection of himself not feeling like he is, too good to be true. I'm just like, just taking it all. It's so on point.
So this is what will stop us on. Let's go here now, Brittany. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Remember what I said earlier in the opening, that the only thing that can stop us is if we stop ourselves, because like all the ingredients are here. Like everything is here. There's nothing stopping any of us. We the only ones that can stop it. And so as long as your man or any of us is man, or even vice versa, if the man is like full throttle and ready to go and the woman is half-mass and either is unwilling or she's just not a witch, she's just not that woman. She can't, even if she wants to, she's not built like that. It's not in her DNA, you know what I'm saying? That's where it stops. That's where it stops. That's why you'll see these men, like I've literally looked at married men and been like, he fucking the wrong pussy. Like he's not gonna go any further. His dick is hitting that cervix, is hitting, stroking those vaginal walls, and her makeup is that's his limit. You know what I'm saying? He can't. And saying, flip it. A woman like you ever see a woman and you be like, that's like Mother Earth right there, and you see her with this dude that's like half mass, and you're like, how does that even work? And you realize she's not going nowhere because she's with, that's the dick that's stroking her walls. You know what I mean? That's in her ear. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. I was in one of them relationships myself.
Me
So
too, right? And, it's like and you be like, gosh, dang. And then it just reinforces how necessary arrogant witch is, how necessary this environment is, so that I can meet with, and I have the environment to, he has the environment to, for us to acknowledge those fears. And then, so what I'm getting as I feel into this, and I go 360 with it, and I go all the way around through the process, the fear, a lot of the fear can be dissolved through the right kind of sex. A lot of the fear can be dissolved through the right kind of sex and connecting at a heart level, which is why I'm so happy. Girl, we're gonna talk about this. So you missed the course on Wednesday, but we're gonna get into it this coming Wednesday. Vanette is dealing with male phalluses and growing a male phallus, but going at a heart level. Anyway, we're not gonna talk about it too much here publicly, but going at a heart level and infusing that into sex with anyway, there's some magic around it. So I'm gonna wait until Vanette cultivates that some more, because that's what we talked about Wednesday and you missed it, but we're gonna get into it this coming Wednesday. And the right kind of sex at a heart level will really dissolve and melt a lot of this fear, because you cannot fix him, like he can't fix you, like none of that is happening. So it's like, how does he or she, right? If it's the woman who's afraid and the man is full throttle, or the man is afraid and the woman is full throttle and ready to go, right? It's like both parties have the desire to, but there's still some strings that have strength that's making the fear sustain itself. How do you dissolve that? And it's not, it's all mental here, but you're also in a body. You know what I'm saying? And there's such dissolving that occurs when there's the right kind of sex at a heart level with one person who's full throttle and the other person who is genuinely ready to disassociate from fear. And any kind of fear that is there, it's actually a help. It's not a bind. It's not stopping us from going where we need to go. Okay. I know that's a lot, but we're dealing in new domains here. We're creating something that doesn't exist here. So folks, we got to really learn to work with the material that we have and maturing the senses and the material that we have, and maturing the connection that we have to higher dimensions, and relying on that, solely relying on that. And that example that I gave of messaging that guy was an example of relying on that versus the head being like, well, go on a date first, like because everything that I need to know is going to happen very quickly, just by the very nature of what I did. So see, that's a different way of moving and receiving and connecting.
Very intentional.
So,
I said very intentional, like really specific, what you're
and relying on my senses. Not like strategy and like the things that I speak for myself, the things that I've historically done, like, well, let me have a phone conversation to see how I feel. And let's meet in person first. I need to see how I feel when I'm in person with him. And then let's go on a few dates. Let's see if he paid. Let's see, like, all the shits that we do. You know what I'm saying? Done, over, finished. Like, I'm interested in a whole new world. So, this is a wide, deep, damn, it's so much,
so many stuff to talk about that comes with this, like it coming together, it is so deep.
And I'm so excited and alive around this topic. I'm so alive around, even just what I've been doing and getting to know men, talking with men, connecting, and even more finely discerning normal men, the degrees, right? The degrees. I was chatting with this white dude who thinks he's not normal. And I'm like, oh God, right. And I was like, I'm not gonna even start exposing and talking because let him think what he wanna think. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But the point is the different degrees of awareness, okay? The different degrees of awareness that a male witch has, that I have, and becoming aware of the degree that he's at, the level of his sight, and being able to speak to him at that level of sight, and also being aware of how the male ego works, looking at the way he moves that informs you of the current power his ego has over him, like the dynamics of that, and you being honest about who you are and being in your power and staying connected to your heart and your pussy and your desire and where it is that you want to go. Like all of these are skills. These are skills that require development. And they're being developed in the Arrogant Witch community, directly and indirectly, with the homework that we do, with you bringing your challenges to the table. I wish I had the chat here so I could look at people's comments and questions. Somebody asked a question earlier about how do I know? I think it was Sarandon that was like, how do I know if he's a witch? As far as I'm concerned, you know. And to the degree that you don't know is the degree to your lack of awareness with yourself and your truth telling with yourself. So, for example, Britney, you're like, right? We can use you as an example, like the man that you're with now. What would you classify? Is he a witch? What is he? What would you classify him as?
Well, I feel like he is because of just how he shows up in the world, how he looks at the world. It's so similar. Like, of course, when he met me, I started to actually define, like, this is what you're doing. You know, you are setting your intention when you're doing this, or, you know, you just knowing something when it's time for you to get your ass up and it's time to leave the club, and you get that feeling and your homeboys don't want to leave, and then they end up going to jail or some shit end up happening. Like, I'm like, you psychic, boy, you know? So like me being able to show him that he's already, you know, practicing as a witch and moving, you know, in this world in that psychic nature, you know?
Exactly. Oh, I'm so happy to hear this. Boy, you psychic, boy.
Yes, I'll be hyping them up, you know. I'll be putting them on game. Like, he come to me with questions now. So, you know, I'm like, I love it. I love being able to have that type of relationship with him where he's open and it's not like I have to hide that part of myself, you know, because it's so much in my everyday life, you know.
Exactly. What did he say when you told him he was psychic?
Man, he was like, I already knew, but I didn't feel like I was psychic. You know, I already felt like, he was like, I already knew that I just know things, but he just never defined it as psychic. You know, he happened to meet me and I'm like, boy, like you already moving that way. You already, you know, creating your reality. You already know, just instinctively just know certain things. How do you think you know, you know? But yeah.
That's what's up. Now just imagine, okay? Everybody watching right now, just imagine, okay? Because this is listen. Okay, you just heard Brittany share, right? That they even met, her and this man, this psychic, right? This male psychic, right? We're talking about psychics, witches, mystics, healers, shamans, oracles that are male and melanin and magical as fuck, right? They met, right? Now they're together. Now this thing that he been doing, he got a name for it. Now he's with somebody who's cultivating her full power. She's feeding him. He's gonna grow more, and at some point he's gonna start feeding her even more, right? And then they have a vision together. That's if they decide to go that route. Right. Just imagine, right? And for everybody who's watching right now, same thing with you. You coming into your full power, you meet your magical melanin mystic, your magical melanin psychic, your magical melanin healer, right? And both of y'all, your sight is clear, okay? Your sight is clear. You can see each other, right? You agree to support each other. You agree to have your heart open. You agree to be vulnerable. You agree to tell the truth. You guys have a shared vision. You lock in on that vision. You decide to move forward. What is that like? Just imagine that, right? You sleeping together. You're having, your sex is about creation.
Yes.
Like, yeah, y'all gonna climax, but the creation that's happening in the sex is girl.
The alchemy, yes. That's how
That,
you birth
right?
those new worlds you keep talking about. That's what we doing right there.
That's
We
what we
come
do.
together. Yes, two halves of one whole. When I think about God, I think of the feminine and the masculine coming together as a whole, because you need both sides. Your brain is set up that way, you know. When they think of, say, about the Trinity, for me personally, I think of the Mother, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. That's how you create, you know, those new worlds and birth, you know, whatever reality that you want.
And the thing about it is, as melanin folk wrapped in these bodies with this high intelligence, this flesh that's of high intelligence, and we start telling the truth about who we are. We not hiding. We don't hide. There's no need to hide. Everybody who think they need to hide and worried about, you know, onlooker, just work. I want you guys to know that we don't have to worry about that. That was of another time.
Mm-hmm.
Worried about people looking and haters, and that was of another time. That's old. When we, okay, so I'm getting ready to go. Right. When we actually move in this way that I'm talking about, where we're connected at a heart level, we could be in a room, we could just look at each other. We could be across country and we can communicate. And we're having the sex that I'm talking about. We're being the truth of who we are with matching or similar DNA, okay? Which means you must be a witch and he must be a witch, a mystic, right? Same thing. Or you're a mystic, you're an alchemist, a healer, and you are coming into your fullness. Like both of you guys agree that you're coming into wholeness, into fullness together, and you're honest and you're having that sex and you're creating. All of the rules that we have been taught in spirituality no longer apply to us. There's new rules. There's new standards, there's new ways. Like, and you got to really get close up to this to really see this, because you don't even have to take my word for it. When you really start moving in this way that I'm talking about, you will sense it, you will know, you will feel. Like, we don't have to be worried about the things that normal spiritual people worry about. We just start being cloaked and governed and protected by a whole new other rules. It's just, you just either believe me and just move, or move yourself and you'll see it yourself. You'll see it. This world ain't got nothing on us when we move like this. This world has nothing on us when we move like this. I have yet to see it with witches and mystics and healers and oracles and shamans who are melanin.
Mm-hmm.
The change we want to see in the world, is here with us. It's here with us. And so as this starts to happen in a small way with a small group of us, and then more and more and more and more starts to happen in mass, that's when we're going to start to see the speedy creation of these worlds, the speedy of the dying off. Like everything that what the Bible talks about, the new world, however that's, man, and I don't even know if I'm going to be around to see it, but I know I'm part of the creation of it, you see. So anyway, I think that's it. I think that's it for today. I think, what you got to say, Britney?
Oh my goodness. I just want to thank you. Thank you so much. You give me so much to think about, and as far as how I'm moving in this relationship with him, and even it speaks right into what, because I kept asking God, like a spirit, you know, whatever you call a higher power, what do I need to do in this relationship? And you know, the answer was love him. It was that simple. Love him how he is. Don't try to change him, and don't allow nobody to change you just be love and give love.
Yeah.
So
And
thank
how do
you.
you, I love this, love. How do you define love?
Love is acceptance, right? I mean, when you go out there and when you see a flower, you don't try to change that flower and say, oh, that flower would be cute if you add a little orange right here, purple, No, you look at that flower and are grateful for what it is and how God created it. So loving all, like you said, all parts. And at first it starts with me, loving all
Yes.
parts of me. Like attracts like. You're gonna attract your reflection. So it starts with you. So thank you. I appreciate you. I'm forever grateful.
Yes, amen. I'm so grateful that you're here, that you're growing. I look forward to seeing you, like who you'll be 6 months from now, who you'll be a year from now, what you're going to create as a result of your being, like how your man transforms. If he reaches his capacity and he's like, I can't go no further, or if he like fucking becomes,
you look powerful.
you know
That's
what
what
I'm saying?
I see in him. I mean, and I tell him, even for his birthday, I sent him a text message and I'm like, I sent him a picture of like this king and he had like all this gold around him and he had two, and I'm like, this is how I see you.
Wait a minute, hold on. Two what? Two what?
It had 2 women. It was 2 other women, but it was because of the
I knew it.
It was because I have realized that you cannot be a weak woman with an alpha male. Like, women are going to naturally flock to him. Women just stop and stare, and you can't be insecure. You can't be around that type of man and be like, oh, well, no, bitch, he with me because he see his reflection. You hear me? So I don't care. You can look, you can do whatever. You can walk by, because that's what they do. They walk by and all this. It don't matter, baby, because what I got in the inside, you ain't fucking with,
And look, and here's another thing. Thank you. If he genuinely feels like that's the place for him to go, let him go.
Yes. Release.
Let him, if he genuinely, like, let him go. Because when you start dealing in this truth that I'm talking about, it's just so true. It's just the root, it's just true. When you start dealing in that truth, the man who's gonna stay is gonna stay. He could have pussy lined up. He could have pussy, you know what I mean? He could have other goddesses all around him. Yes. And he will know if he needs to pick one, if that needs to be like, y'all, listen, we playing, listen. So this is beyond YouTube, a YouTube video. This is long game. This is real life. And so in closing, Brittany has something she'd like to share with you. Before she shares that with you, I would like to share that Doors to the Arrogant Witch community open September 20th, which is 3 weeks from today. Doors will only be open for 1 week. Do not delay. If the community speaks to you, submit your application. If you're not already on the email list, make sure you get on the email list. You get on the email list by, there's going to be a link beneath this video. Sometime today, a link will be placed beneath this video for you to subscribe to come and join the Arrogant Witch community. And so you'll get details when the doors open via email when you're a part of the email community. So that's that, okay? If you're not already on the email list, you get that. I won't be making a witch offer today. Brittany has an offer she's gonna make that you guys need to sign up for immediately. And so that's that, Doors to the Arrogant Witch community. And as a reminder, I'm here every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern here on the Arrogant Witch YouTube show. And lastly, Brittany would like to share with you, she has something to offer.
Yes. I also have my own 4-week course where I work with you each week, whatever is specific to the client, whatever it is that you want to focus on when it comes down to chaos. So when I'm saying chaos, I'm saying what is uncontrollable, right? When you step outside your door, whenever you happen to go to work, when you're driving down the street, it could be anything, your family calling you. We are going to pinpoint those situations, those interactions that cause you the most turmoil, and we're going to will teach you how to transmute that energy towards something that is favorable to you. So it's a 4-week class or, you know, or consulting with you. And I also, in addition to that, give you an additional call as well, because, you know, sometimes we happen to have those emergency situations. The cost of this is $2,500. In addition to that, we also do a consulting call in the beginning. So total, you get 6 calls, right? And I work with you for that full month. It's me and you. And again, it is specific to the client. So if you are interested, you can reach out to me as Supernova 007 on Instagram. In addition to that, I have my own YouTube channel. You can look me up. It's Supernova 007 on YouTube as well. And I look forward to, you know, meeting y'all. And thank you so much, Naima. I appreciate you so much for allowing me.
Can you share with us what's the benefit of this chaos magic? Because I think it's really important for people to really understand and really see themselves in this. I want people to really see the value in what it is that you're doing here, because it really speaks to those of us who have been sexually abused, those of us who have just experienced a lot of trauma and really things that have been very chaotic to our nervous system.
Yes.
And now here we are as adults who, you know, rage just overtakes us, or right, these like strong ass emotions that feel like they swallow us, and we don't feel like we have any control over it to really steward our lives. And I want people to understand, Brittany, that by working with you, that they learn how to take these very strong, overpowering emotions that can feel destabilizing, that can feel bigger than you, that, you know, that makes you feel like they control you, how you can learn to become bigger than them and then use them to steward and create the life that you want. I want them to really get that that's what they're getting when they work with you. So can you speak to that, please?
Exactly, because in chaos, what is the only thing you can control? That's yourself, right? We can't control what's going to happen when we walk down the street. We can't control what's going to happen. You can set the intention all day, like, hey, I'm going to have a great day today. And then you go to work and they give you some extra shit to do. And now you feeling tight up in your chest because you ain't said nothing. You know, you have to suppress it, you know, swallow it down, and you pissed off and mad. And now you acted, it's coming out in passive aggressive ways because you haven't learned how to transmute that energy in a positive way for you, you know, where it's not coming out sporadically and crazy and chaotic, and you're not taking it out on your spouse or your kids, you know. So that's what it's about. The chaos that is everywhere, that is raw material, the energy that is all around us is unpredictable. We bring structure. I bring structure. I help you bring structure to your life to be able to control yourself and get back to that sense of calm. Oh, they gave you some extra shit. Is it a part of your job title? Well, I don't feel like doing this shit today. I'm not up for it. Is there somebody else who can do it? You know what I'm saying? And being able to not say, you don't have to be angry. You could be in a sense of calm. It's that's what we are working on, what we are working on in those 4 weeks, you know, whatever it is. It could be your family, it could be work. I want you to be your best form of you, and I want you to be in control of you, not being controlled by your outside, you know, the surroundings around you. So that's what it's about.
Amen. Be in control of you. That sounds like a course name. Be in control of
that.
Amen. Britney, Supernova, Holy Locks. Thank you. Yes. Hey, y'all, when I be live and I be like Holy Locks, this is what I be talking about.
That be me.
That's the one with Holy Locks. That's the name I gave her. Holy Locks. So that's what it is. I said it. That's what it is. Holy Locks.
Yes,
amen.
Amen
and amen. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to our viewers. Again, put your questions or comments in the comments under this video because the laptop battery is out. So I haven't seen anything. If you guys have been commenting, and I just love to be able to respond, answer questions, the ones that I want to answer. Okay. So thank you guys so much for being here. Reach out to Britney, like she said, on Instagram at Supernova007. All right. DM her to inquire about chaos magic, about how she can support you, about what you got going on, etc. And I will be here next Monday, as I am every Monday, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern, here on the Arrogant Witch YouTube show. Thank you guys so much for being here. Bye.